Shalom and welcome to Congregation Emanuel's Home in Cyberspace. I'm Rabbi Harry Breckner and I am the spiritual leader of Congregation Emanuel. I'm glad you dropped by. I want to tell you a little bit about our congregation. We are an eclectic group of folk. We have a lot of different artisans, poets, writers, physicians, attorneys, university professors, as well as organic farmers, taxi drivers. We're a whole crew of people who come together on Vancouver Island in Victoria, and our Jewish home is right here at Congregation Emanuel. We are the oldest synagogue in continuous use in Canada. The synagogue was built in 1863, and the original founders of our synagogue were pioneers who came to Victoria primarily from San Francisco following the gold rush on the Fraser River. The people who were here left a kind of a spirit of can-do and a spirit of creating dynamic and, I think, innovative expressions of Jewish life. And that continues to this day at our congregation. We like to think of ourselves as cutting edge on the edge. We're on the edge of Jewish North America. I don't think you can get any further west on the North American continent and still be part of the Jewish world. And yet we have an incredibly warm, open, dynamic, and really committed Jewish life that happens here in our synagogue. As the rabbi here, I am consistently moved by the level of care that congregants are able to give to each other. People are really there for each other in times of need and sorrow, as well as coming together to really celebrate and enjoy what blessings life has to offer us. I think because so many of us have gotten here from other places, it's only a small handful, the few and proud who were born and raised and always lived in Victoria. Those of us who are transplants, I think we really connect with one another almost like extended family, because we really have that need of being in that extended family, being part of that continuum. We're really a congregant-led congregation as well. We don't have a professional Torah reader. We don't have any professional cantors or chazanim. I think in the background you're hearing some of our daycare. I share our floor with our preschool, the Gan Shalom. But we're congregants, teaching congregants, and I think we create a really Hamish, a really home-like, and really wonderful synagogue life. So our congregation is a place, I think, of deep connection, where congregants are connected to one another and also deeply connected to our tradition. Many of our congregants are lifelong learners involved in all kinds of Torah study. Torah study in its narrowest sense of studying sacred text, and Torah study that happens through movement, through art, through drama, through writing and journaling. A lot of different creative expressions. One of the programs I'm most proud of that we have in our synagogue is a call out to artists. Annually we choose generally a mystical text, and anywhere from 15 to 25, 30 artists of all different kinds of art media come together, study, and then we create and put on an art show together. And generally, to me, the product of the call out to artists is generally deep midrash, deep ways of really understanding text through all different kinds of art, and a lot of beauty. If you come into our sanctuary, you'll see a number of different kinds of art hanging on our walls, including our parochet, the curtain around our ark. All of that was made and produced by our congregants. We're a place where I think it's good to ask questions. People are open to search for personal meaning as well as collective meaning. And I think that most importantly, we try to bring a certain sense of joy to Jewish life here. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our educational program. We have a small daycare, a small gan that feeds into our kindergarten. The daycare is obviously every day, but our Hebrew school meets on Tuesdays and Sundays, there are about 80 kids in our Jewish enrichment program. Pretty proud of our Jewish enrichment program because I think what we really succeed in is we really succeed in the affective realm in terms of connecting kids with their identity, and connecting up their Judaism with a real sense of joy. Most of our children, because the Jewish population here on Vancouver Island is so small, many of our kids might be one of only a handful of Jewish children in their entire school. So coming together and having Jewish life and feeling ownership in the synagogue is a really important part of their Jewish growth and development as children. Our older kids and teens are all been very, very connected with a local residential camp, Camp Miriam. Camp Miriam's registrar also happens to be our Hebrew school director, which makes the relationship even that much easier. And Camp Miriam is really a place that kind of old school Zionist, labor Zionist values and life is still very, very much alive. I think that and a real sense of a love of Israel that happens through our Hebrew school and through camp has really prompted many of our older teens and young adults to go to Israel for a gap year, to begin their university studies in Israel. And almost every year we've got a couple kids from our little community of 200 families making aliyah. So, in conclusion, I think Congregation Emanuel is a really fantastic synagogue. And I know that if I wasn't the rabbi here, I would certainly want to be a member. Shalom.